The money view views the economy as an interlocking web of promises to pay. So this is balance sheets interacting with others, and this puts the payments perspective into focus. The need to settle your debts every day, which is what Perry calls the survival constraint, in which he takes from Minsky, drives daily behavior in the economy. And in order to manage that, we need to put into focus the idea of liquidity. The one thing I would like to just say here at a high level, which is a confusing concept for many of us when we first encounter this, is that the importance of liquidity has shifted from the 19th century idea of liquidity, where we had self-liquidating bills of exchange that were sort of very short-term bills that we needed to discount. We have now, in the 20th century, focused more on the idea of shiftability, of being able to buy and sell assets, securities in capital markets. This puts into focus the dealer function, which is why Perry then also in one of his books in 2011 put into focus the dealer of last resort instead of the lender of last resort. So that's the focus, shifting the focus from one concept of liquidity to another. Another key concept that we all know and that we'll be talking about in the symposium is the concept of hierarchy of money and credit. Obviously, this interlocking web of promises is intermediated by different agents at different stages, different levels in the hierarchy. But these are concepts that you all know. I just wanted to make sure we have those in mind. I just want to maybe, as an illustration, give you this graph because I really find this very informative about how Perry approaches the money view. So this is taken from Financialization and its Discontents, which is a presentation Perry gave at a conference to social scientists and political scientists, in which he organized the three ideas of money, finance, and banking in a very compelling way. As I said, he views the economy in the money view as a set of interlocking balance sheets based on promise to pay, and money, therefore, the constraint that everybody faces on a daily level is a way of settling maturing promises at the very top. When we then think about the capital markets, enduring promises, things that are securities that are going to stay in the economy for very long, we have to be concerned about their valuation. And that is what finance concerns itself with. And finally, banking is the allocation, deals with the allocation of new promises. So this is also, we have here another key concept, I think, that comes into being, which is the concept of discipline, the discipline that comes on a daily basis for needing to settle, and elasticity, which comes from acquiring the help of other agents, from acquiring credit, like banks, from banks, to be able to meet your survival constraint on a daily basis. So this is a quick refresher for all of us who needed it. Then recently, Perry has published his book, Money and Empire, Charles B. Kindleberger and the Dollar System, which I encourage you all to read if you haven't done so. I'm going to give you links to the reading group that we have running every other Wednesday. We dealt with this book all of December and early January, and there's 5 recordings that help you deal with this book. But what's interesting about this book is that Perry builds on the money view, in particular on the international story. Kindleberger is a product of the Great Depression, and I will not get into any detail because you can find those resources yourself, but I would like to just explain to you some key ideas from his book if you haven't encountered it yet. The key idea around Charlie Kindleberger's book is that of key currency. And that is a different idea than others that are floating around at the time. And sort of we're talking about international monetary stability. that requires leadership and followership. What is meant by that is that the core countries need to cooperate to stabilize their currencies. And that's what we might today see as swap lines. But this was a problem in the Great Depression. So the view that Perry develops in the book is that Charlie saw the problem of the Great Depression, the instability of the Great Depression, as a dysfunction in the cooperation amongst countries, the lack of leadership of Great Britain, or the lack of ability for leadership, and the lack of the United States to step up as a leader. And then also followership is important because we need other countries to sort of accept the leadership of another country. This might be provocative because this also contrasts to other approaches, in particular to the idea of Bretton Woods. We'll get into that in a moment because this is such a staple in our thinking that Bretton Woods is this key idea and this institution. But what I would like to sort of leave us with on this note is that the world that we actually got in many ways is that which Charlie Kindleberger actually worked on. In a modern sense, we have integrated capital markets, global capital markets in the way he envisioned, based on the dollar, euro dollar offshore. There's an international dollar. But even if you think about the way the post-war era was managed, we had the Marshall Plan. We didn't have the Banker Plan. The Marshall Plan was, in essence, sort of the leadership of individual countries like the US but it was not a fully coordinated effort at a multilateral level. This was an initiative by the leader in the system. Of course, this has many implications, but I'd just like to leave us with this idea here for now.